to Twin Peaks Rewatch Podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Kim.
And I have a weird selection of news this week.
Okay, do you want to go first?
I can go first. So, this one's kind of a complaint that someone made about a Guardian column.
Okay.
TheGuardian.com. Someone did a column of the 100 biggest TV moments of the last 100 years.
Okay.
And someone wrote in to complain that 3% of them were MasterChef and also included Dallas, Friends, and Squid Game.
Okay.
And complained that Twin Peaks was not on the list.
Okay.
And it's one of those, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks being a hugely cultural phenomenon eventually. And just completely missing from his list. Elsewhere, people are really... I've randomly just found a column about someone saying the X-Files pilot was one of the best in history. So the last one, though, is David Duchovny talking to Kumail Nanjiani, the famous X-Files
from the Eternals.
From the Eternals and the X-Files podcast.
Yes.
But basically, he pilots the start, then go to Squeeze and Ice, then do Clyde Bruckman, and then watch Home.
Yeah.
And Duchovny was also very echoing on Home as being one of the better ones.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things we found in our rewatch.
Yes.
Is neither of us really remembered rating it, and it is a really good episode.
Well, yeah, because we found all that stuff from William E. Davis saying how it's one of his favourite episodes. It's like, really? That one?
The notorious one.
The notorious one that I think the UK got first for
yeah,
really strange
America
reasons.
banned it for a long time.
Yeah, it was really odd. Then again, before we get too up on our high horse, bear in mind that the BBC Two refused to broadcast Fire when it should have fallen. That went out as part of a evening of weird programming. So I had to tape that one, and it was a case of, we watched Fire, I was like, is that it? Really? You made the fuss over this? What have you got for news then?
I have finally had somebody reach out on Blue Sky and ask me to promote something at the start of the show.
Ooh, okay.
It's been a while since I've had one of these.
It
I'm
is.
quite happy. But yeah, this is William Dickerson, who's written a book called The Tao of Twin Peaks. Tao spelt with a T, T-A-O. So this book, it actually sounds really interesting. I've got a copy of it now. I haven't read it yet. But it's, just to go off its blurb on Amazon, it's an exploration of the cinematic techniques, cultural references, mythological, psychological, and religious influences on Twin Peaks.
Okay, I can see that.
So yeah, it's available on Amazon, both in the US and in the UK, and you can also find them on Blue Sky, where they are at the Tao of Twin Peaks.
Cool. We will have a look at that and report back at some point.
Yeah, I think that'll be an interesting read. I love reading stuff like that.
Yeah. But I suppose we should get to... what the hell is this one called?
The One-Armed Man.
The One-Armed Man. We should talk about Mike. I think. Anyway. So this week's episode, The One-Armed Man, directed by Tim Hunter, written by Harley Payton, and first broadcast on the 26th of April 1990. So, both of our people today have passed away.
Oh.
First is Warren Frost, who is Dr. Will Hayward.
Okay.
He passed away in 2017.
Oh dear.
He did make it into Firewalk With Me and the reboot.
Okay.
He was in Slaughterhouse-5.
Oh.
Yeah, Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit.
Less classy.
Yeah, Psycho 4.
Even less classy if possible.
Seinfeld.
Okay. Oh yes, I remember him being in Seinfeld.
Yeah. And The Stand. Oh, this is the 1990 Stand, not the 20, whenever it was, not the recent one.
Okay.
The old one. Anyway, then we have to deal with nepotism. For he is the father of Mark Frost.
Ah.
So no wonder he's in this series.
Oh, you can't just go on that
I
assumption.
know. But it's suspicious, no. I mean, it's not that he's bad. Yeah, I think he's fine. I mean, there is someone who...
I like Doc Hayward.
The other person is Peggy Lipton, who was Norma Jennings.
Oh, has Norma passed away?
She passed away in 2019.
Oh dear.
Weirdly enough, and this is one of those whole cultural things, is she was known as a singer beforehand.
Okay.
Not anything I recognise offhand, but that was her career. And this one's a complicated bit here for her personal life. So, do you know who Quincy Jones is off the top of the head?
Yes.
Right. I basically know it because he produced Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, big record producer, and is that running gag in Arrested Development of Job's secretary who keeps claiming she had no relationship with him.
And gets to cease and desist.
Yeah, and they can't explain why she has his platinum records.
Yeah.
Despite them saying she's never talked to him. Anyway, she was married to him.
Okay.
And they did divorce eventually, but yeah. She was also in... So, she was in Firewalk With Me, obviously, and The Purple People Eater.
Aww. So, before you give us a synopsis this time, would you like to know what the log lady has to say about this episode?
I would.
So, this was, as we mentioned last time, when the series was re-released on American TV, they were all re-released with an introduction by Margaret Lanterman, or the log lady. So this is the one for this episode. Even the ones who laugh are sometimes caught without an answer. These creatures who introduce themselves, but we swear we have met them somewhere else before, yes? Look in the mirror. What do you see? Is it a dream or a nightmare? Are we being introduced against our will? Are they mirrors? I can see the smoke. I can smell the fire. The battle is drawing nigh.
It's really curious that I could see how this is going to pay off, like, way down the line. There's some stuff in there, isn't there? Okay.
So your synopsis.
My synopsis from the Twin Peaks wiki. Sarah Palmer describes a man to Deputy Andy Brennan as he makes a sketch. Maddy comes in with the tea while Harry sits on listening. Sarah says she saw the man, which we can recognise as Killer Bob, at the foot of Laura's bed. Leyland arrives and asks them if she has told them about the necklace, and says Sarah had 2 visions. Sarah then tells of the first vision from the end of the first episode with the flashlight moving across the forest floor and Laura's broken necklace being retrieved. Lucy is somewhat distracted by the soap opera Invitation to Love and gives Harry a synopsis of that when he arrives at the station, and then tells them that Cooper is in the conference room with Dr. Jacoby. Agent Cooper talks to Dr. Jacoby while he performs a magic trick across the table and asks why Laura came to him. Jacoby does not confirm whether Laura had problems with cocaine or sexual problems, and instead turns his attention to the map of Tibet. Cooper asks why he will not help the police investigation, and Jacoby says his personal investigation will continue the rest of his life, and says Laura had well-guarded secrets he was not able to access. Jacoby says that the night after Laura died, he followed a man in a red Corvette to Old Sawmill Road and then lost him. Cooper then receives a call from Gordon Cole, his supervisor, and Cooper asks Harry if Leo drives a red Corvette. Harry admits that he does. On the phone, Gordon says that the twine from Laura's shoulders is a common household item, but the twine from her wrists does not match. He also says the marks on her shoulders were bird bites, and that Albert is reconstructing a plastic fragment from her stomach. Gordon also says that Albert still wants to get Harry fired because of their fight. Andy brings a sketch from his conversation with Sarah, and Cooper agrees that it's the same man from his dream. Hawk calls to say he has found the one-armed man at the Timber Falls Motel, and they leave to meet him. At the hotel, Josie is staking out the hotel, while inside, Catherine and Benjamin have just finished another session of canoodling. The police and Cooper approach the room, while Harry and Benjamin joke about their plan to set the mill on fire. Andy inadvertently triggers his gun, but they break into the hotel room and still find the one-armed man in a towel. Benjamin goes to take a bath and drops a poker chip, which Catherine then sees is from One-Eye Jacks. The one-armed man is named Philip Gerard, and his middle name is Michael. The officer's showing the picture of Bob from the dream, and he says he's never seen the man, but he looks like somebody. They ask if he knows anyone named Bob, and he says that he knows the veterinarian Bob Lydecker, which is his best friend, and in a coma at the hospital. He admits that he lost his arm in a car accident while he was on the road selling pharmaceuticals, but now sells shoes. When asked if it has a tattoo, he confesses that it did and breaks down crying when he admits that it says Mom. The officers return to the car, and Hawk tells them that Josie Packard had been taken out of the hotel. At the high school, Donna meets with Audrey in the bathroom, and Audrey relays her dream of running away with Agent Cooper, and then conscripts Donna into helping her solve the murder of Laura Palmer. Audrey summarizes some facts about Laura Palmer, and Donna agrees on the promise of secrecy. Norma meets with Hank in a jail, and he pleads with Norma to back him up and promises that he has a changed man. At his parole hearing, Hank blames fate for his accident, and Norma says she will give him a job when he's out of jail, and they will live together. The officers park at a gas station, and Cooper remarks that in his dream, the 2 men, Bob and Mike, lived above a convenience store. This is right beside Lydecker's veterinarian office. The receptionist looks at the picture of Bob and says it is not Bob Lydecker. Cooper believes that the bird that attacked Laura Palmer is a patient at Lydecker's office and confiscates the files. At the Johnsons' house, Shelley shows Bobby the bloody shirt that she took from Leo, and that she now has a gun. Bobby admits that Leo and Jacques were running drugs across the border and selling them at the high school. When Cooper and the other officers return to the station, Harry instructs Lucy to go through them and look for bird owners, and Andy apologizes for dropping the gun. He tells Lucy about it, but she brushes him off. Cooper takes Andy to the firing range, and Andy says he does not know why Lucy is angry. Hawk aces a shooting test, and Cooper instructs Andy to practice every day. Harry asks if Cooper has ever been married, and Cooper and Hawk discuss the vagaries of love. Cooper is a crack shot and shoots 4 bullets through the eyes and 2 through the nostrils of the target. Over the intercom, Lucy admits that the files are organised alphabetically by the name of the pet, and that this will take a long time. At the diner, Shelley tells Norma that she has one man too many in her life, and that Leo was looking for a maid that he didn't have to pay. Norma sympathises, and is no longer sure if she will divorce Hank. James makes a call to Donna, where she invites him to the church potluck. She says they need to talk about what Audrey has told her. Meanwhile, Madeline shows up at the diner, and James says he will go to see Donna later, very much distracted by Madeline. Madeline comments on how she looks like Laura, but says that they did not know each other well. Norma then receives a phone call telling her that Hank has gained his parole. Audrey talks to her father and convinces him to give her a job in the cosmetics department of the Horns department store. She sees a picture of herself with Laura Palmer, and then a phone call distracts the moment, and Benjamin dismisses Audrey. He tells the caller to meet him down by the river in half an hour and to be discreet. The officers sort through the veterinary files, and Gordon calls to say that Albert is faxing over the reconstruction of the plastic object from Laura Palmer's stomach, and the marks were from a parrot or minor bird. The fax is a poker chip with a J, possibly for Nia Jax. Andy finds a file for Waldo, a minor bird owned by Jacques Renault. The officers storm Jack's department, and Bobby, while inside, hears them and flees to the window, leaving behind the bloody shirt he got from Shelley. Leo is down by the river with a red Corvette and meets with Ben Horn. Ben criticizes his choice of vehicle, but says that Hank believes Leo to be gifted. Leo points to a body and says it is Bernie Renault, and that Jax is back in Canada. Ben tells Leo to make sure that the mill looks clearly like arson and hands him an envelope of cash. James and Donna walk to the woods to retrieve the necklace after telling James about the dream. They discover that there is no locket under the stone where they left it, and that someone must have seen them and followed them. Apparently, Laura and her mother had visions on various occasions, and the pair discuss telling this to the police. They are interrupted by a hoot of an owl. Josie then receives a call from Harry, who asks if she was at the Timber Mills motel, but says to call her back tomorrow. Pete invites Josie to join him at a fishing contest, and she opens the letter with a picture of a domino with double threes. She then receives a phone call from Hank, who is licking an identical domino.
Thank you.
I think we've hit a turning point on Twin Peaks in terms of we're not basically doing it day by day now. Because this is set in a really ambiguous time after the last episode.
Yeah, that's true.
Because last time it was very much this is the day after the funeral, this is the day after the murder, etc., etc. It also feels like, it half feels like there's an episode missing here. Because just, when you start with them in the Palmer household drawing the picture of Bob, it's like that was not set up at the end of the last episode.
No, and it seems to have taken a long time to get to this point, plus it's not entirely clear why we're at this point now.
No, because I can only think it's basically they're wiring in parts of Cooper's dream because he relays the events of the pilot, so they go and talk to Sarah about her vision of Bob. But then she also has told Leo about the vision of the locket.
Leyland, not Leo.
Leyland, sorry, yeah.
But also, how do they know about Sarah Palmer's vision?
Oh, this is from Cooper's dream.
Yeah, but Cooper had basically the same dream she did. How does he know that Sarah's had that?
Oh, no, that's what he said. He says in his dream that they went to Sarah Palmer's house she'd had a vision, and they went to her house. He just describes it. You don't see that sequence, but he describes doing it.
Oh, I see. So we're just pulling off him saying, I dreamed that Sarah Palmer had a dream. Yeah.
Basically, they're mangling the events of the pilot into this. They're doing really weird stuff with this. I don't know quite why they decided to run it like that line. But yeah, that's the reason why they're in the Palmer household.
Mm.
I think it's interesting because later on we get a whole scene where James is like entranced by seeing Maddy. But we get no reaction from Donna being in the room with Maddy.
Well, to be fair, James's reaction is a bit weird.
It is a bit weird. But a lot of other people sort of stop and sort of go, wait.
Because of her identical cousin.
Yes, really identical cousin.
To be fair, I think the curly hair and the glasses do a lot to mask the fact they're identical. It's until like when she's talking to James and she takes the glasses off and suddenly Clark Kent's herself into Laura Palmer.
Oh, to be when I first watched this, even then I didn't realise it. I think it's way down the line before I'll sort of say, oh wow, it actually just is Laura Palmer, isn't it?
I did notice with Laura Palmer as well, we do see one or two other pictures, but predominantly everyone just has that prom picture of her.
They do.
It's like one of 3 pictures apparently ever taken of Laura Palmer. Between that, the one Donna has, and the one Audrey has.
Yeah, we'll jump to the one that Audrey has, which I thought was actually is so weird if you break that scene down properly.
So this is the bit where Audrey's talking with her dad.
Yeah, so she wants a job at Horn's apartment store, ostensibly to try and retrace Ronna and Laura's path, possibly. And this is, we know from what we learned about how One Eye Jack's works, is that if she gets onto the perfume counter, she might well be recruited into the brothel.
So this is information we have as the viewer, though, that the characters are, well, at least Audrey's just starting to cotton on to, I think.
Ben presumably knows how this works, but she doesn't. But it's still the whole, she's really good at the femme fatale thing, because she's got the look down and she's also got the behaviour down, because she's very chameleonic with people. And so she sort of just says, I want to try and be a good daughter, I'm going to sort of try and inherit the business, I want to work at the department stores. And then when he really agrees with that, they embrace, and she looks down, and diagonally on the corner of Ben Horn's desk is a photo of her and Laura Palmer in bobble hats.
I think it's an awkward photo, though, because unlike some of the ones we've seen of, like, Laura and Donna, Laura and Audrey in this picture are about a foot away from each other. It doesn't look like two friends. It looks more like two people who've been photoshopped into the same picture.
Yeah, but then it also goes into that weird thing of when Donna keeps saying that she doesn't actually know Laura that well. But you were at some event and he was still coming by your house all the... Sorry, she was coming by the house all the time.
That's what she said previously, is she respected Laura because Laura was good with her brother.
Yeah, and as I think we said last time, it's like the fact she's constantly around with her brother and never sort of really sort of struck up any conversation with Audrey it's possible. It just gets increasingly implausible.
Especially you've got to assume with a town, well, I suppose Twin Peaks isn't as small as it looks, but you'd think in a small town there wouldn't be that many girls graduating in the same year.
No.
You'd be a close-knit group.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. It's like the stated population versus the actual implied population are kind of clashing now.
Well, I keep comparing it because I'm from a very small rural community, which is our UK equivalent. And it was more when I got to high school, admittedly, but in my primary school, there were only 2 other girls in my class.
Yeah.
So therefore, you were friends because there were 3 of you.
And you had no choice in the matter,
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, we don't know many of the high school students at all, really. They're very nebulous outside of James, Donna, and Audrey. Bobby and Mike. So, yeah, the photos of Laura Palmer are getting slightly surreal. Should we do things character by character? Because I think that actually turns out to be slightly easier in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There aren't as many characters in this episode either.
No.
We didn't jump around quite as much, I don't think.
Yeah. So if we'll do Cooper. Cooper's always a good one to start with. So we have Cooper corroborating that the sketch that Sarah Palmer produces is the man from his dream.
Yeah.
We, the audience, can also see that. Look, it's pretty good likeness of him. I do wonder how Frank De Silva felt when the description, like, longer hair, dirty, it was a horrible, dirty hair and everything. Like, that's just what he looks like.
Well, that's like, you wonder how they cast anything in Hollywood, though.
Yeah.
Of especially, you know, like if it's a bullied, overweight child or something. What's the casting call for this?
That's true. But isn't he even weirder, though? Because it's like he was just there and they caught him on camera. Yeah. So he just, that look was what they wanted.
Well, that's it. That's the serial killer.
Exactly. It's like, what does that do to your psychology? That's just such a weird situation to have. We touched on last time the fact that about the FBI not resembling real life at all. And now we just have a nebulous supervisor that Cooper has.
Gordon Cole.
Who we can let out that the voice, if the voice sounds familiar, you'll possibly be thinking of Bill Cipher, and you're in the right ballpark, but not quite. But this is in fact David Lynch's voice. And my theory, well, actually, no, we do know full well that for Gravity Falls, they did actually ask David Lynch to voice a specific character, and he said no. So Bill Cipher sounds suspiciously like someone's impersonation of David Lynch, and I think, yeah.
It's even the Afflictions, because it's not really a spoiler, but it's the character notes for Gordon Cole is he always shouts every line of dialogue because you later discover he's deaf.
Yeah. I was going to say that's not something that seems to come through yet. I don't think they'd hit
You
on
can tell
it.
he's shouting.
You can tell he's shouting, but he's not having any problem hearing what anyone else is saying, is he?
But interestingly, the person who wrote this episode, but predominantly he tends to write for Gordon Cole. Because the story behind it is he had a mother who was profoundly deaf.
Okay.
And so this is where he kind of got his inspiration from, is these kind of shouted conversations with his mother.
Okay. Makes sense.
But yeah, that's how we've got the kind of weird infliction to Gordon Cole's speech, which you hear here and you find out the reason for it a little later on.
Yeah. I know, we're discovering that Cooper has a lot more flexibility than you think in law enforcement. Then again, so does Truman. But it's like, he keeps badgering Jacoby for stuff that he can't tell anyone. It's like, Cooper, you should know that he can't tell you doctor-patient confidentiality.
Can they get a warrant for that sort of stuff? I don't know how the law works.
I don't know either. I think
they're allowed to breach doctor-patient confidentiality if they think there's a danger or something like that.
If they're going to cause danger to someone else or the danger to themselves.
Yeah.
But post-mortem,
That's what I was wondering. Post-mortem, surely does a corpse have rights anymore?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It's one of these law enforcement things. And I would also say that, no matter what the truth is, the series doesn't really bother with it. It doesn't. Whichever way it works, it's not going to care. Jacoby either should or shouldn't have said this, but I'm not sure. Actually, no, I kind of know why he's doing magic tricks, but that's just a weird quirk that Jacoby has at this point.
Apparently it's the actor. The actor wanted to write that into his character because that's a trick he knows and he thought it was characterful.
It certainly seems like the kind of thing, though it's very much you're not taking the FBI interrogation seriously.
There is something interesting when I was reading about inspiration for writing this episode, and he hit on this idea that Twin Peaks is largely normal.
Yeah, I can see that.
So therefore, if you put something unusual into a frame, it becomes this kind of uncanny focus. So the major example for this episode is Hank's domino.
Okay.
So you've got this normal kind of parole hearing going on that's very by the book, very standard procedural, but he's playing with this domino that seems really out of place in the scene, so that becomes your focus, and it makes it inherently think that there's something weird about a scene that's otherwise not weird.
Okay.
So you similarly have that with Dr. Jacoby's trick. This is a kind of normal police interrogation, but he's doing something weird.
Yeah. And he doesn't admit much of help to anyone, other than his files are presumably illuminating the wife she told him. But we don't know aside from what we heard of the tape, where Laura flipped on a dime, really, from being happy to being sobbing.
But you kind of get that a bit in Laura's diary as well, the fact that Laura's almost like two people.
Yes. I try not to bring up Ringu Zero again, but it just keeps coming back, doesn't it?
It's the dualism we're getting repeatedly in Twin Peaks, though, because on a wider scale, you've now got Maddy, who is essentially Laura Palmer 2.0.
Yes. We'll deal with Maddy in a bit. So, chasing down Gerard feels... I can kind of see where we're coming from with it, but there's an interesting get-out clause. I don't know if they intended to be there. We know from the notes that the one-armed man was in the hospital because they thought making a reference to the fugitive would be funny. And then when they had to make the pilot longer, they warped him into the whole actual plotline with him being the one-armed man who we'll deal with him when we eventually find out more about him, but how he links into Bob and Mike and everything else of it.
There is a surrealist bit in the sequence where he comments about having a connection with Bob and chopping off his arm and all the other surreal things that are mentioned in that sequence.
Well, and also being the first person, the first kind of surreal character to say "Firewalk with me," because Cooper does say it right at the start.
Yeah.
But it's the thing, the get-out clause they've given us is that you'd think that Cooper feels he's on the right track because he's seen Mike because he was in his dream. But Cooper saw him in the hospital way before the dream kicked in, so that could be subconscious, just conflating two things together. I
did think there was an interesting bit where Cooper doesn't go to see Sarah Palmer because he calls himself a strong sender.
Yeah, that was a curious one.
So Cooper not only has his strong faith in the power of dreams, but also seems to think that he's quite high-level psychic.
Yes, but can't read it, but can broadcast it out.
Yeah.
It's an interesting quirk for him to have.
Mm.
But, I mean, kudos that he didn't try to keep that clean, and the version of Bob that she produced is close enough. We get some more of Cooper's backstory, which is kind of curious. The fact that they apparently had one great romantic person in his life, and he's sort of very cagey about it.
Oh, when they're in the firing range.
Yeah. And also, that was the thing I pointed out to you, and it's a weird quirk I've started noticing with actors firing guns.
Oh, yes, you mentioned this while we were watching it.
And it's a thing I sort of noticed in the X-Files a few times is that Duchovny and Gillian Anderson aren't great with firearms. And I don't know what it's down to. It's either training or they're like gun nuts at the best of times, and so they're used to it. But it's like watching people blink when they fire guns is one of those presumably indicators that they're not used to the noise they produce.
I see. So it's like a reflex.
Yeah. And while Cooper does have ear protectors on, the fact that he just sort of like stares straight down the barrel and just sort of fires off everything, while Andy is sort of blinking furiously while he does. I don't know if that's a directorial choice, or that's the actors actually unable to stop their body's involuntary reflex.
I actually thought the firing range was kind of an interesting side of Coop to see, because he's never seemed especially dangerous.
No, but
until you see his uncanny accuracy when he's at the range.
Assuming he's telling the truth, because he could have just missed so wildly.
But it was when they commented that he'd only hit the target 4 times, and he said something like, "Oh, I've put 4 bullets through each eye and 1 in each nostril," or something like that.
Like, good God, man. Yeah, that's an interesting turn, because he seemed like just an affable, business-like FBI agent, but he's actually...
But of course, on your other side of the scale is Andy, who can't hit a target, who, is clearly harmless to the core.
Yes. It's reminded me that, oddly enough, that's a detail that will come up way down the line, the fact that Cooper is a crack shot.
Yeah.
Really odd that it actually is set up here, and but then I suppose it's like the X-Files again, is the fact that to be an FBI agent, you presumably, or field agent, you have to be trained in the use of firearms to shoot people if you need to. So if he wasn't a very good shooter, he probably would be sort of stuck in the lab again.
I don't know much about gun laws in America, because I know they vary by the state, but you do, at least our UK perception is that American sheriffs carry guns.
Yeah.
So you'd like to think, unlike Andy, who fumbles and drops his gun, that they know how to use them.
You would. Well, I think though that point about Andy is it's meant to be, it's that 1950s feel, but it's also the mythologized film version of 1950s, not the real one.
Yeah.
The halcyon days of old, the one that the hard right want to go back to, and no one is actually going to admit that it's not how films presented. It was a lot nastier if you weren't in certain very narrow affiliations. Like, if you were white and male, perfectly fine time. Everyone else, not great. Not great.
True.
So I think that's also part of it, is it's like Nandy's never had to fire his gun because Twin Peaks is stuck in this sort of weird pocket universe.
It's not only that, he's actually seems to be afraid of the time he might need to fire the gun.
Yeah, which should debar him from his job.
Yeah. Can we talk about Andy, actually? I like his relationship with Lucy. It feels really, really natural.
Yes. It's very much a thing that's just sort of tucked into the background, isn't it? It's like the pilot has one scene which kind of cements that they appear to be in a relationship. Even that's really strange, that one scene they get.
Yeah.
And this is, you have to read between the lines in what he's saying to her, what she's responding back with as to what's happened. But I don't think you can interpret "you wouldn't let me stay over last night" as anything other than they are sleeping together.
Yeah.
And then that leads into what the firearms mean, because guns tend to mean something.
And of course, he discharges his at the wrong time.
Indeed, he does. And Lucy is upset with him for reasons.
It is a cute little sequence, though. As I said, a lot of Twin Peaks is overblown, including their relationship, but it just feels so, like, nice and normal and natural.
It does. It made me think a bit of, and it's really strange, there's a joke in The Naked Gun like this.
Mm.
It's, I think, his love interest, she sort of says she knows he's got a gun. It's like, "Oh, aren't you afraid it's going to go off accidentally?" He says, "Oh yeah," but then I started just to think about baseball and never worried about it again. It's I see what you're doing here.
Clever.
Yeah, but that's what we've got here.
Mm.
And presumably also go into the fact that he can't shoot with any kind of... There's no calm to him as well.
Accuracy.
Or accuracy, yeah. We're going to allude to that, Lucy is not happy for very good reasons. And Andy can't wrap his head around why that might be. I have a sneaking suspicion this is the straw that broke the camel's back. As in, this has happened before, she's fed up now.
And of course, because Andy, bless him, is a little bit dim, he can't quite figure out what he's done.
Yeah. That while this has happened before, it's happened too many times.
Mm.
I don't think this can be the first time that this has happened to him. Otherwise, that feels a bit too blunt, really.
Yeah.
Lucy seems to be ostensibly a nice person, even if she's being cold.
Yeah.
To move on to Lucy, so she has that subplot. Then she also, and I do like that she's watching Invitation to Love when they arrive at the station and just recites the plot out
Yeah.
to Truman looking absolutely exasperated. And the fact that Invitation to Love has a stupider plot than Twin Peaks does at this point.
I think Lucy has some of the best comedic timing of the series. She just kind of brightens any scene she's in.
She does. I very much like Lucy.
Yeah.
I think there's also, they play into a bit with you kind of assume after a while that she's not getting things. So it's like when she calls them an intercom to say all the patient files in alphabets, and they all say, just go to the bird section. It's like, no, they're alphabetical by the pet name. And it's like, it takes them a while to understand that she's bringing a legitimate problem to them.
Yeah, it's kind of Lucy on the phone. One of my favourite fictional characters from one of my favourite American movies is Janine in Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
And Lucy, she kind of fills the same role as Janine, but it's like the anti-Janine.
Yes.
Because, you have the Janine, hello Ghostbusters, what do you want? But you have Lucy on the other side who similarly has, it's not a disinterest for Lucy, but this kind of only vague grasp of what she's meant to be doing. And this just but over-the-top niceness to her.
Yeah. Well, I think Lucy actually, the weird quirk to Lucy, I think, is she wants absolute precision. She can't deal with any kind of vagary. If you tell her to do something, she has to double check what you're asking her to do.
Yeah.
Because that was like when they were doing the chalkboard with the stone. There was a lot of unnecessary questions she asked on that as well. So she wants things to be absolutely precise.
But at the same time, kind of struggles to grasp subtext.
Yeah, she can't read subtext.
Yeah.
I also remember last episode though when they're sort of Cooper's recounting his dream and she's making, I can't remember what she starts writing down. It's like, though, why are you writing this down? This is useless information, Lucy.
Yeah.
She's adorable though, and we like her.
Mm.
I suppose we don't mention about Hawk very much, but then I think Hawk isn't really a character per se.
He's certainly present.
He's certainly present, but he's there basically to run around after the one-armed man, to do improbable tracking things, like saying Josie Packard's car was parked outside the hotel.
It does feel a bit of stereotyping with Hawk, though, because it's the Native American tracker.
Exactly, and it feels that's not the best thing to do.
But I did like the bit with Hawk where they were talking about relationships and suddenly he recounted his unseen relationship with another woman.
That's the other point. It's like, okay, so he has love interest, and I'm gonna bet we never see this lady.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten she even was inferred.
But it was kind of interesting because Hawk, up to this point, hasn't really had a character.
No.
And then suddenly you get this deep sort of backstory for him that we're probably not going to see. It's kind of entertaining.
I like to think that what's happening is we're sort of, the writers are getting more comfortable with Twin Peaks as a concept, because one quirk I know about how a lot of TV used to work in the 90s, this always causes problems with continuity in some things. Babylon 5 was a good example for this. Is the first episode air is not necessarily the first one written or filmed.
Okay.
And some of it is because it takes the actors, writers, and everyone else time to get to grips with the series. So you do it a few down the line when they've had a chance to actually get to know the character. And so they give a stronger first impression. Then you layer in the first few ones where they're slightly weaker. And Twin Peaks can't get away with that kind of thing. So I think basically everyone involved is now settling into the characters. Everyone has better grasp on who it is. And it's like, we have more views for Hawk, so we're going to sort of give Hawk a bit more. And Leo, weirdly foundational, because he's not part of the core cast. He's actually guest star.
Yeah.
And so we're doing more stuff with Leo kind of thing. So I think we're getting used to how Twin Peaks works and changing up the dynamics a bit. Truman
doesn't have a lot to do in this episode.
He doesn't have a lot to do in this episode. He does get the whole, Josie, were you outside the motel this afternoon? I've got to go, Truman.
You could probably do the mill plot as one big basket here, I feel.
We could. This is getting complicated.
Oh my god, so many interlinked relationships to do with this mill that may not be a problem for much longer, given what we learn in this episode.
Yeah, I think we've got a 3-day deadline to Leo burning it down.
If he gets that far.
And inferring from what Ben Horn says to him, because I think they don't specifically say you should burn it down. It's very much a case of we want the headline arson. And he's joking with Catherine about it. And it's quite interesting that they're trying to avoid accidental. They want this to be a crime, to be pinned on someone. And the moment it seems like Josie's going to take the fall.
Yeah.
Catherine has probably unwisely told Ben Horn where the other ledger is, which feels like a significant thing for her to have given to
See,
him.
I thought that was dangerous, but at the same time, if anything happens to it, she knows who's done it.
She does, and also, given they're in cahoots, presumably, they feel they're on the same page. But the dropping the One-Eyed Jack's casino token seems to indicate that, I know, is that just shorthand for she's realising there's a dimension to Ben Horn she's not aware of?
Or at the very least, she's now got some collateral.
Yes, because presumably going up to the casino at all is controversial. Although everyone in town seems to know what it is, which is...
I don't think everyone knows exactly what it is. They know it's a casino. They don't necessarily know it's a brothel.
True. Or people have heard things, but no one's entirely sure. It's like...
Because I think everyone always responds by saying, oh yes, it's that casino across the border.
True. But we didn't know that Hank was bound up in this. But then again, this is the first time we've ever seen Hank. Who... He's got an air of menace, I think, which is better than Leo.
Yeah, I was thinking that watching it is that's what I wanted from Leo, who we've criticised as just not being threatening enough before. But that's what I need. Because he can turn it off and on as well, because you almost buy when he's talking to Norma and saying, I'm going to change, I'm already a better man. And at the end of the episode when he phones Josie, it completely flips.
Yes. I would say, I would agree with you. However, the soundtrack betrays him.
Oh yeah, he does have sinister soundtrack.
Because that's the most sinister theme we've had yet for his introduction. And it's like, oh, this is a bad guy.
Also, unlike Leo, he doesn't look inherently sleazy. He looks very normal.
He does. But he does, yeah, I think, as you said, he's a better actor because he can do, there's ticks and little gestures and everything. He can make himself feel sleazy because, like, just sucking on a domino, that's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like, he is also psychic, though, as far as I can tell, given that he's mailed Josie a pencil drawing of a domino.
And she knows exactly what that means.
But then he rings up the second after she's opened the envelope. It's like that. Oh, did you get my letter?
It's soap opera dramatics, isn't it?
It's so hilarious to think, right, okay, now. Just him looking at the clock.
If Cooper can be psychic.
Yeah, I can't dispute that. But I love that as what a sort of threatening letter to say, I'm going to show you this one domino I've got.
Mm.
I cannot fly from remember if the numbers mean anything. Presumably there's something.
It's a 3, isn't it?
It is a 3. So I don't know if that has any further meaning, but we'll find out.
6 1/3 of the beast.
Oh, yeah. As a side note, we went to see Return to Silent Hill yesterday.
Yeah, I thought we should bring that up, given that Silent Hill is very well known to be inspired by the work of David Lynch, though not specifically Twin Peaks.
Not specifically Twin Peaks, but there's definitely some influence of Twin Peaks on it.
I seem to remember it's Blue Velvet is the main inspiration behind Silent Hill.
But that's the path that's split in both. That's the origin point of so many things.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point I was going to make, because you were saying about the 3s, and I've been playing Alan Wake, so 665 or 667 being Neighbour of the Beast.
Neighbour of the Beast, yeah.
A famous thing. But really, in Silent Hill, and I won't go watch the film because it's absolutely travesty. It was a terrible experience. But one thing that keeps coming up in the film was the number 318. And it's not until the end, like near the end of the film, you find out what 318 means.
Mm.
And it's usually people do that kind of stunt because that you suddenly go, oh, that's what it means at the end, and it makes everything fall into place. Can you remember what 318 meant in that film?
No.
It was the time when he did the thing.
Oh, really?
That was it.
That's why it's 318.
You see the radio click over. But 318 keeps cropping up through the film, and it's like, it doesn't mean anything at all.
Your counterpoint would be the likes of the Jim Carrey movie, The Number 23.
Yes.
Where you're left wondering what that means, and eventually it has significance why it's the number 23.
Yeah, I think number 23 is interesting because it has you're giving every other explanation for what 23 means, and it's at the climax you get why he is bound up with it.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting way to play it as well, which is much better than how Return to Silent Hill decided to use a meaningless number.
Yeah. It would be curious. I haven't read anything about Hank and why it's the 3.
No, and I can't remember.
Maybe it'll be significant later. I was thinking, in my head, it's when she opened the envelope, there is a Sherlock Holmes story called The 5 Orange Pips. And I was thinking it would have been perfect because you call the kind of dots on a domino or a dice the pips if it had been a 3 and a 2. Because then literally she would have had the 5 pips in the post. But that was the only thing that got stuck in my head.
I would say then there's a possibility that they chose the 3 to scrape by as in not be obviously inspired by that. But that's possibly where they're
I
going.
wouldn't say obvious. It's not a well-known Sherlock Holmes story.
But I think that there's a possibility that's what they were getting at.
Yeah.
Because we've noted there's a lot of Sherlock Holmes references.
But also for the 5 orange pips, again, like that, it's 5 orange pips sent in the mail as a threat.
Yeah. And it's very much as a threat to Josie.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got Leo Johnson's going to burn it down. Hank is somehow involved. Is connected to Josie. We've got Ben Horn and Catherine. I suppose connected with it as well, we have the fate of a Renault brother, which we'd forgotten about, because Bernard is dead, which...
And that actually puts more... We already have Leo as the primary suspect of Laura Palmer's killer at this time.
Yes.
And now he's totes murdered a guy.
He really has.
So, we know he's capable of it.
Oh, well, I think the series was at pains to always make him seem capable of it.
No. It's very different. We know he is an abuser. We know he's a drug dealer. You can't go the whole way and say that would necessarily make him a killer.
True. But I think you always...
But he is.
Yes, but you always thought he had the potential to go there.
Yeah.
And now we know that he definitely...
I actually liked that sequence where it kind of put Ben Horn on the back foot. Because Ben Horn is always very in control, very powerful. And it was the kind of... He's talking to Leo, and Leo kind of goes, oh, look, dead body. Like, oh, crap. Just for that one moment, you see Ben Horn shaken when he realises he's kind of dealing with a loony.
Yeah. I thought it was curious that Leo now has a red Corvette, because I don't think this has come up once beforehand.
I was thinking that when Coop said towards the start, does Leo drive a red Corvette? It's, oh, yeah, he does. Does he? We've seen the big truck.
And it's one of the ones where you have to unpack it for a moment, because you're going to say, he's got a truck, why is he in the car? It's like, he's not going to use the truck to go around town.
Pop to Tesco in your 18-wheeler truck.
Yeah, he's going to have a different car.
Yeah.
So the middle plot line is rapidly becoming a sprawling soap opera mess that we don't understand. Well, I think we've got the edge of what the plan is from Catherine and Ben's perspective. And Josie knows more than they think she does, because she's followed them to this motel, as far as we can tell.
Yeah.
We don't know what Hank comes into it, because you said the realization of, who did Hank kill? Because surely this must be significant, and apparently, no.
It could still be significant. We don't know. From Hank's description, it is manslaughter, but it doesn't sound as sinister as it originally made out of he lost control of his vehicle and hit a homeless person.
Yeah.
And you feel there must be more to that if he's been locked up for so long.
Yes, and also, I mean, maybe just complete lack of contrition or something when he was sentenced.
Well, I was wondering, it could be that, was he drunk at the time and that would have added to a sentence and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
We don't really have the full story. And it doesn't rule out the fact that maybe the identity of that unnamed homeless person is significant.
Yeah, so to say, I don't know if that's just how they found him and they didn't have any ID or something.
Yeah.
They've made an assumption there. So, yeah, we don't know. You'd like to think that, given the fact he's clearly wired into so much of the conspiracy plots, that he has a specific reason for that murder or that manslaughter.
I think this sprawling and complicated mill plot is kind of interesting because this is what they originally said was the intention of Twin Peaks, is the fact that Laura Palmer's death is not the main focus of the series. You're moving on to these individual vignettes about different people around the town.
Yeah.
So already seeing that is we've got the Laura Palmer investigation going on to one side, and then this massive, complicated plot that we're only starting to see how the threads connect. That is about embezzlement and arson.
Yeah. Just what you want to see. I mean, the mill's going to go really easily, given it's just old wood.
Wood.
Yes, so much wood.
Mm.
I think that's Catherine and Ben's. Well, Ben actually has a little bit with Audrey, so we'll probably have to loop around to Ben in a minute. We could talk about Maddy.
Again, she doesn't do much in this episode, other than the fact you can tell that James is totally into her, which makes another complicated relationship.
Yeah.
I did actually see something interesting in the critics' reviews of this episode. So this episode, on the whole, people kind of gave a above average sort of rating. They just said it was a good, normal episode, basically. But one of the critiques I saw, and I think it was Television Without Pity, criticised certain actors, saying that they just weren't very good, and James was one of the ones that came up.
See?
Which is interesting, because you keep saying
it's
that.
Not just me.
The other two were Sarah Palmer and Madeline.
Well, so I don't think Sarah Palmer's doing a bad job. I think she's convincingly a woman on the edge of her sanity, not helped by her husband being even worse than she is.
Do you want to know which ones they praised, out of curiosity? Because I thought that was kind of interesting too.
Yeah, I know.
The ones they praised in the episode, it's kind of an interesting choice, because of course it's Carl McLaughlin Cooper.
Yeah.
Ray Wise, who's Leyland Palmer, who's barely in the episode.
True, but he does tend to pull attention whenever he shows up.
Yeah. And the last one was Bobby, who actually is predominantly in
Yeah.
this episode, which seemed fair. And we've already commented before the fact that we think Bobby is actually really good in his role.
He is. I mean, I think you've got to have a certain level of charisma to be able to complain to the woman you're having an affair with about how your dead girlfriend had an affair with someone else.
Yeah.
There were so many levels of, what are you doing?
It's especially as he has this conversation with her during sexy time.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, so seductive, Bobby.
And she's fine with you complaining about Laura cheating on you with James. It's
Yeah.
That's insane. Maddy doesn't have a huge amount to do, but it feels significant that we sort of put the James meeting a moment into focus. And as you said, the Clark Kent reveal of what she actually looks like under her glasses.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, though, for the critic thing of her not being one of the best actors is she was never meant to be.
I also think it's unfair to say that she's a bad actress at this point, though, given that she's had so little to do.
Yes.
All she does is walk into scenes and looks vaguely like Laura Palmer, and that's been her role her role when not in a dream sequence so far.
Yeah, and I think she's also intending, as Maddy is intended to be a very stark contrast to Laura, because she's very quiet, very meek, very mousy. And it's very different from every perception of Laura Palmer we've had to this point.
Yeah.
But by all accounts, slept 1 hour a night and basically did everything in the universe, as far as we can tell.
Yep. Yet still only managed to get photographed 3 times. That prom photo of Laura Palmer, or whatever it is,
Homecoming Queen.
the Homecoming Queen one, though, is so iconic for the series. It's like, if you see any books about Twin Peaks, it's usually on the cover. I think it's possibly because it's uncanny as well, because it's such a kind of pretty, vibrant, nice photo that you know is of a dead person.
Yes, I think that's also the intention.
Mm.
But yeah, we can tell Maddy is... They're going to do something with Maddy just because James is so fixated on her that we can see the iceberg. It's there now. It's coming. James is going to do something stupid.
Almost certainly.
Because although it then calls into question of, you could be really cynical here and say that James didn't know Laura Palmer if he's reacting this strongly to someone who just looks like her. Because she's not exuding Laura Palmer's presence or her personality. It's just physically she bears an uncanny resemblance to her.
But he's a teenage boy.
He is a teenage boy, I suppose, and very horny. Well, I think that was James' whole bit, wasn't it? Oh, well, I suppose other than digging up the necklace.
Yeah.
So then we can segue into Donna. So we finally looped back to that part of the pilot, and guess what? The necklace is gone because it's in Jacoby's office.
Inside a coconut.
Inside a coconut. We're still really not sure if anyone's going to find that thing. I mean, maybe. They've because it's odd, though, that this is like the reinforcement of that whole bit. That, yeah, remember that necklace from the pilot that we're basically trying to chop and change with the other bit from the pilot.
I also want to put a pin in that scene for later because I'm starting to keep account, but I believe that's the first owl appearance.
Yeah,
and we can't really talk about it now, but owls are deeply significant to Twin Peaks. So I think we should keep a note of where owls appear.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's we kind of need to flag it up at the same time. There's a possibility you've heard us saying in conjunction with Twin Peaks, and this might make you sort of sit upright and go, "Oh, right, okay, we'll get into that."
But because this is a rewatch, we'll start Owl Watch. So Owl the First appears when they're digging up the necklace.
Yeah, and what it will mean in the end, I'm not sure, because I think it gets ditched when we get to the return.
Don't care. Owl Watch 1.
Owl Watch 1. We have an owl at a significant event. Okay, so necklace is gone. That's not surprising. Shuffling over to Donna. As I said, it's odd that Donna has no reaction to seeing Maddy. But as you said, there are ways you can explain that, but it feels odd.
Mm.
But we have a nice scene with her and Audrey, which I thought was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And it's that, I think you said while watching it, it's like, is Donna normal?
It's that sequence is so real because it's like two people holding different conversations. It's almost Tommy Wiseau-like.
Yeah.
Over the top of it, where Donna just appears to be a normal person talking normally to this film noir femme fatale who is talking around the point and seems to be holding a different conversation to her. But it's the way Donna keeps drawing her back to the point. I absolutely love during that sequence in the girls' bathroom.
Yeah. I mean, I think it gives credence to that. My thought in the first episode is that she's just meant to be the contrast to Laura Palmer.
She is the girl next door.
Yeah, but actually the girl next door.
Literally.
Yes.
She's a very likeable character, Donna, I think, in part because a lot of the characters in Twin Peaks are overblown, but you can envision yourself as Donna.
Yes. Just trying to make sense and just get through the day without anyone going too mad.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Audrey is here and she's saying, yep, I'm gonna help Agent Cooper solve this crime so that we can run away together. I'm not sure if Lara Flynn Boyle, this would be Donna, was dating Carl McLaughlin at the time or not. They were involved at some point during the production. So make of that what you will. Because she does shoot down the whole idea of running away with Dale Cooper. Yeah, Audrey can have her fantasies. But it's interesting, though, that it's odd that Donna and James wanted to solve Laura Palmer's murder, but no one says, hey, Audrey, we're trying to do this as well. Would you like to join our adventure club as we try and solve this? It's very much a case of, oh, I'll help you, Audrey. And Audrey's like, fine, I'll go off on my own and have my film noir thing and become a social chameleon.
You keep commenting about Gravity Falls. Is this like the kids in Gravity Falls,
it really
pretty
is,
much?
Yeah.
Mystery Twins.
Mystery Twins. But she doesn't join the Mystery Twins. And I don't know if actually it's case, why aren't they bringing Audrey into the circle given that she wants the same thing?
Yeah. I guess, though, she's not part of their friendship group. She's like an outsider.
No, but it's still a shared cause. It's usually you can start putting aside differences to get on that, can't you? And it doesn't ever seem like Donna and Audrey don't like each other. They just don't particularly interact with each other, is the perception I got anyway.
Everyone had people like that in school where you were cordial with them, but they weren't part of your circle.
Yeah. Audrey, social comedian.
Yep.
Just tying her father in knots around her fingers.
I think Audrey is a lot smarter than her father, even though Ben Horne seems to have the money and the control.
Yeah, well, I think it's one of the ones where you don't really want to get into it too much because there is a degree of sexism to it, but she really is sort of embodying the film noir femme fatale, the person who will say and do what she needs to do to get what she wants.
Yeah.
And she's doing that. She's playing the meek, mild daughter, presumably contrition for spilling that coffee all over the receptionist desk.
I liked her revising her story as well because she comes with the whole, yep, I've decided, I've changed my mind, I want to take on the family business, I'll start as low as I can. And when Ben's not buying it, she suddenly plays the, oh, my friend just died, I've changed my perspective. And, just ups it a notch.
Yeah.
Until she eventually gets what she wants. She finds, like, the right pitch.
Yeah. She's but also by not making it obvious, though, that's what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's a very, really good social manipulator.
She's one of the better actresses in the series, I think, as well.
Oh, yeah.
She's absolutely fantastic.
She has a presence. You are drawn to her when she's on screen.
Yeah.
You can't ignore Audrey. She's basically just a constant presence whenever she turns up.
Yeah.
It's cool. And also knows to, linger in doorways, see what she can overhear. I would not be surprised if she wasn't just round the corner from Ben Horne's office when he talks to Leo on the phone.
Yeah.
That feels like her kind of thing.
Mm. We touched on Hank, and Norma, I guess, would be the other one.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
Norma, again, her plot's only just starting to get started, but she's decided to give Hank another try, basically. Yeah. She was going to go and break up with him because she wants to be with Big Ed, but she kind of changed her mind at the parole hearing.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I think, presumably to make it complicated, then that you've got that weird parallel that we've just sort of highlighted, that Shelley and Norma are in exactly the same situation, working in the same job in the same place.
You don't know necessarily that Hank's abusive to her, though. You know he's not a good husband. You don't know what he's done.
It's fair. But I was going more the sort of, we're both having affairs with other people.
Because our actual husband is a dangerous person.
Yes. And we did get a bit into actually Shelley's backstory of why her and Leo actually happened at all.
Yeah.
And it all being a front up until the point that she said, I do, sadly.
Yeah. Her first mistake was getting involved with Leo in the first place, but
again, it's, as I say, I think it's the high school romance thing again. It's like you as a teenager are not the best judge of anything in the world.
No. But think you are.
The cute guy with the flashy car who sort of seems to dote on her, just going to feed right into it.
Mm.
But she's given Bobby the shirt, which is curious.
The bloodstained shirt that she took in the pilot.
Yep. And also, I don't know if I'm going to go say it's pure seduction for her to sort of ask Bobby to tell her how to use the gun, because I refuse to believe he has much more of an idea than she does.
Yeah.
He's a high schooler and still not built like a quarterback.
His dad's in the military. There's a possibility that Bobby has learnt about firearms and stuff.
Yeah, there is a thing. It's not really handguns in the military. There is more rifles and things.
I don't know. Would you teach a kid how to shoot? They live in a rural place as well, so...
Maybe hunting, wouldn't it?
But again, hunting's a rifle, isn't it?
Yeah, handguns is very much... I don't know what the actual justification for handguns is other than...
To be fair, gun laws in America, again, like I said earlier, I don't really understand them. And I know it varies by location, so I'm not sure what they'd be in the Pacific Northwest either.
Yeah. I did have one stray thought, which is... Mike is not a presence in this series, is he? Not one on one of mine. The one armed man, the one armed man, Mike. Yeah, Bobby's Mike. Donna's ex-boyfriend, who's the last one at the funeral.
Well, we know based on what we said last time that there was a cutscene where Donna broke up with him, so that could be why Mike's just disappeared.
It just seems to. You expected Bobby and Mike to be like the terrible twosome, or something, or just have them as a constant kind of threat, because their threat to kill James seems to have just evaporated as well.
Do we assume on that basis, then, that wasn't Bernard Renault and they've just bunked off Mike by mistake, thinking it was him?
Well, maybe.
I guess our last one is just our next clue. The only thing we've uncovered in the Laura Palmer case is the results of the autopsy.
I suppose we didn't touch on those, did we? Yeah, so we've got some weird bits and pieces of that.
So we know that the plastic in her stomach, God knows how it got there, though, was a tiny shard of a poker chip.
And quite likely a one-eyed Jack's poker chip as well for some reason.
Because it was the J, and we've seen the poker chip because we saw the one that Ben dropped. It does look like it. We know that the bites are from a minor bird.
Yep.
Or a parrot.
Or a parrot.
But we do know that Jock Renault owns a minor bird called Waldo.
Yep, and despite the sheer illogical way they got to that veterinarian office, that has given them a linkage back.
There was actually a fun anecdote about the vet office that I've just remembered on set, is the fact that, of course, the llama sneezing in Cooper's face was entirely unscripted.
Yeah.
And they think it's because he was chewing gum before he went on, and it was the llama reacting to the smell as he went past. But Cooper, even though he almost blew the take, Carl McLaughlin, he decided to try and keep stoic because it seemed in more character. And he could tell because other people were cracking up, it would be something they wouldn't be able to repeat.
Yes, I think it was a correct choice. It's sort of a great scene of just, llama, fine.
It's one of those random crazy happenstances that you couldn't have scripted.
Yeah, another accident on set. But we have the weird detail about the twine, which is Akira's one. Oh,
the two different sorts of twine.
Yeah.
So one of them is a common household variety and the other has yet to be identified.
Yeah, that's very, very mysterious. Albert is not backing down from he wants Truman's head or his badge.
But Cooper's defending him like a true bestie.
Oh, yeah. Though it did seem like his attitude to Albert has completely changed, because it's like despite him sort of like being all sunshine and happiness when Albert showed up in the first episode, now he's saying, you know what Albert's like. It's like, well, so did you apparently, and just sort of set him loose on this rural community.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's everything?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
We've been thorough.
So next time, the episode is Cooper's Dream, a title I thought would have referred to the one a few episodes ago, but apparently not.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. If you would like to get hold of us, our email address is thingsgettingstrange42@gmail.com.
You can also find us on social media, and please do hook us up like the Dow of Twin Peaks did. If you want me to promote anything at the start of the show, be it X-Files, Garth Marenghi, or Twin Peaks related, it can be conventions, fan events, art, books, whatever you got on the go. You can find us on Blue Sky and Tumblr at GetStrange42, or on Facebook by searching for Things Are Getting Strange, Twin Peaks Rewatch podcast. Additionally, if you're not sick of my voice right now, I also stream live on Twitch TV under the name AdverseCamber42, Mondays and Wednesdays at 8pm GMT and Saturdays at 5pm GMT. At the moment, I'm playing Black Myth Wukong on PlayStation 5, Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories on PlayStation 4, and The Wolf Among Us on Steam.
Our theme music is A Vision by Kevin MacLeod. You can find that on Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. Thank you all for listening, and until next time, please remember...
Violet under F, for forget it.